Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cardano Live. I have the folks from Tokhun back with us. We have Latheesan and Valentin are back with us. They've been on the Cardano. They've been on Cardano Live before, so I had to just mute my audio. I was listening to everything looking back. So Valentin and Latheesan have been on before. They introduced Tokhun while still in the design phase, and they had some prototype demos working. They had a YouTube video out. Now the Tokhun NFT marketplace is fully operational. I've had an opportunity to use it last week. It works very effectively. Congratulations, gentlemen, on deploying Tokhun NFT marketplace. It's fantastic, easy to use. People seem to be liking it. Welcome back to Cardano Live. How are you doing today?
Very good. Thank you, Rick. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us again.
I bet it was a lot of work getting Tokhun launched. And so I know there's a lot of things you're going to tell us about what the current state is. We'll take a look at the website here and speak to it, and then tell us about the future developments. What were some of the greatest challenges that you've had getting this website up and running and getting it deployed? Like, what was the hardest part? Tell us about it.
I could go first. I think the biggest technical challenge I had to face was people have been minting assets with all kinds of weird stuff. Like nobody seems to be following the NFT standards. So the biggest challenge for us is when an asset comes into the marketplace that we have to pass the details out, it was difficult to work with so many different formats. So after deploying the marketplace, it was daily updates to the sites to make sure that we're compatible with project A, B, C, and it just kept going. But I think we got to a fairly stable state now.
Yeah, you did. It looks like they're displayed almost like baseball cards, trading cards, collectible cards. So no matter what or how the graphic is rendered by the artist, it does look good on the website. It's very clearly displayed. You got the price in there. You got a description of the asset and the project that deployed the project. So it's looking fantastic, and I'm sure there's more to come. Valentin, what about you? What was the most challenging part about getting this deployed? Was it staying up late at night? Was it having enough coffee? What was it?
Well, I haven't been working as much as Latheesan. You probably sleep even less than me, but getting the community all together, and thanks to Chris Okade, Liberty Crypto, that helped us a lot with that. We actually had a very huge interaction with the community, and the support has been also very, very slick and very, very nice. People were asking questions, and we have been able to fix stuff very quickly. So most of the thing, I think it was for the marketplace that we launched 6 days ago, because Mint is already on the platform and available since a very long time. And this is another feature that is working. I'm not sure when we presented the project to you, it was already on, but this is also a very fundamental tool of our system. But as we launched marketplace, so it's about 6 days ago, the hardest part was really trying to study all the process and making sure that everybody had the platform working as well as possible.
Yeah, there was a bit of a fundamental understanding that was different about the other marketplace versus us. We've been forthcoming about this. We are custodial. And what that meant is that people were asking us, how do I connect my wallet? Do I have to send the asset? And so majority of the beginning was just answering this question, getting people up to speed with how we operate. But once they got the hang of it, it was smooth sailing from there on.
Okay. Yeah, I got the hang of it pretty quick. I just followed the directions on the website, and then I had one question about a field that didn't even need to be filled in, and that was it. And other than that, it took me, I don't know, 5 minutes to mint an asset on there. It didn't require any waiting except for the it actually paused for a moment and said, all right, I'm doing something. And then it said, here you go. Here's your asset. And it was minted. So I use the minting feature. Now there's also selling and buying features for users that like doing that as well, that you put in there. So we've got multiple options here. You can create. And then you just, to create, you just use either your GitHub account or your Google Plus account to get logged in. Because it's a custodial type. And then if you want to buy or sell, I haven't tried that yet. How does it work if I buy it? I'm looking at an NFT right now. I'll do a screen share. Do you want me to put my screen up real quick? We'll just speak to it verbosely, and then you can tell me, how do I buy it, right? And then if I want to sell one.
Do you want to buy live?
No, I'm not going to buy it live because I don't want to start pulling up my wallets and with the balances and passwords and
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
no worries. I
Just
can
kidding.
speak you through the process if
Yep.
you just.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, we'll just look at it briefly here. I'm just going to show the window. We'll speak to it verbosely for those who are listening on Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, and so forth. So here's the website, beautiful website, and here's
So
a
the
cool
homepage. Yeah. So the homepage is like a quick summary because we have artist minted assets as well as things that are people selling on the marketplace, right? So you can go down to any route. If you want to just solely focus on the marketplace, you can just click on view all assets on our marketplace, or just hit the marketplace button in the middle of the site.
So at the bottom of the fourth card, or here also, but you can click on the view all just in the bottom of the four first cards, which are sales, and the one below are explore. So the way Tokhun works is actually we have two different branches: the gallery and the mint place, which is one channel, and the sell place and marketplace, which is a sort of different channel. We have the idea that we will be grouping them and linking them at some point. That would be probably easier for the minter to put them to put their asset to buy.
So when you're on the marketplace and you're looking for things to buy, you might something might catch your eye and you can click to buy it, or you could actually filter it down straight away into something specific. For example, you could be clicking on one of those mycelium art gallery project. You can see that it's verified and it's going for a particular price. You click it and you see the full details. And when you're ready to buy, you click buy, and that will reserve that asset for you for 15 minutes.
Hold on, Rick, if you could, okay. If you could, you can see here, sorry for the shout.
It's all right.
You can,
as long as I didn't commit a security violation, I'm good.
You actually can see in what you click that it's a bundle of many different assets. So it's one feature that we have been providing. People can sell many different assets at the same time. So you have here the main asset, Black Hoskinson 88, and then you have below, and the UX UI will be probably improved at some point to see better the different assets. But you have underneath all the different assets that are linked to this bundle. So what you buy if you click in here, if you buy is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 different assets here. And you can check all the different assets to look how they look.
If you remember, the mycelium project is it's where you have to collect the cards, and when you burn it and you get the next card and so on. So some people have been really utilizing our bundle sale feature to actually sell the main asset they want to sell along with all of the rest of the card as a bundle. Now, going back to the demo we were talking about is once you committed to buy it, click buy, this asset becomes immediately removed from the marketplace for 15 minutes window. So if you hit that buy button again, so what it's telling you is the original price plus a new, like a randomized dust figure, which is the 227407 figure that you see at the end. So you have to send this exact amount to this wallet address we're showing you. That's where the asset is also held. Soon as we detect the payment, we just do the transaction, the ADA to the seller, the asset to the buyer, and that's it.
So another thing that is interesting is as long as you're logged in, and if you close this window and go look for different things in the website, if you're coming back here, you actually can come back and can we?
Yeah, if you go back. Yeah.
If you go back, then you can resume the loading that you were already in. So the 15 minutes you need to put all your address together and your wallet, then you can go back and forth. It will resume the countdown and the possibility to send your asset.
I see. So it queued it up. That way I can navigate away. I don't have to wait here, and I can go sort things out over on the wallet side and then come back to this page. No problem. And it worked really effectively. All I did was listen to what you guys were telling me to do, and it did what it said you were doing. So great. That's fantastic. You can't ask for better user experience. I mean, there's a trade-off between custodial, non-custodial. I mean, maybe one of the advantages, you have this very high speed. You got a powerful web server in the background, and it gives you the flexibility to build and change things, right?
And for the buyer perspective, it's much more efficient and much more trustworthy experience, because he can buy just right away and doesn't have to wait for the seller to respond to him. So that was the goal from at the beginning, even before some other part was doing their website, was to have this workflow of as soon as a buyer says want to buy an asset, it can buy it straight away from Tokhun. Like in a comic book store, when the comic books are in the little paper, the wrap paper, then they could just take it and buy them, and not wait for a trader to come in the shop.
Yeah, and that's very important because some of these NFTs are getting very high up there in the price. There's someone here at 1,000 ADA, and it looks like 7,000 ADA for one of the projects, and Theos AI is it 7,600 ADA. And I've seen NFTs sell in these marketplaces. I think the highest I've heard was 60,000 ADA for an NFT.
I think I've seen something higher. One of the, I can't remember which one it was. It might have been Spacebud, but 110,000 ADA.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So doing this right in a custodial environment, you want to make sure there's trust, reliability. That's a lot of money. Gosh, 110,000 ADA right now. That's like, gosh, it's like $280,000 right now.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, we're very young compared to the Ethereum market space for NFTs because, somebody sold their crypto hunks, I think, like for millions of dollars. So it's interesting, like comparing that to, where we're at. We're still young and early, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of sales, you were going to tell us a little bit about sales. What's it looking like? What kind of activity are you seeing on the website with the buyers and sellers that are using it?
So we got about 1,500 sales listed. That basically means that Tokhun is holding on to 1,500 sales and the assets, that's people willing to sell. Since launching on the 1st of September to now, we completed 900 sales, and all of the profit that we generated for our sellers combined is about 100,000 ADA. So things are picking up.
Wow. So the sellers have earned 100,000 ADA so far. And in order for you guys to pay for operating this site, the fee is what's the fee? I can't remember. I paid it. It was very cheap.
It's
it was like
2.5% for it's two ADA minimum, and then from a certain amount it's 2.5. So if it goes over 2, then it's 2.5.
Okay, cool.
It's to account for the min UTXO. For example, if somebody was selling an asset for 8 ADA, 2.5% of that is not going to cover the min UTXO. So we could never really take it. And it doesn't really pay for all of the processing and the server costing and things like that. So it's 2.5% or 2 ADA, whichever is highest.
Okay. Now that's going to help fund continuing development, which is very important, and sustaining the infrastructure required to operate a website of this level and grade. It has to handle a lot of traffic, I take it. And what's cool is you guys are really pushing the use of the Cardano blockchain by having these kinds of tools available where people can buy, sell, trade, and mint these NFTs, because lately I've just seen the number of transactions on the blockchain skyrocketing. The average block I'm seeing based on visual it's about a 5 to 10% full, but they're hitting 75 to 90% full blocks with all these transactions in them. And I've seen it, the blockchain hit over 100,000 transactions per day. And a lot of these are NFT related trading type transactions.
For now, the NFT and when they put the native token out on Cardano, so now this is the only usage that we can actually do before smart contract is sort of opening to many different dApps afterwards. So this is the main market that is allowed for now, as long as smart contract didn't ramp up to have many dApps on so far. So as people are probably keeping their ADA to make some revenue on staking right now, the only thing they can be using on it is actually NFTs and
making NFTs. And right now they're mostly art related NFTs. Sorry, Latheesan, I'll get back in a minute. I just want to remind the viewers, check out the Tokhun website. I've got the links down below in the description. You can go to the website I was displaying earlier, tokhun.io, see how to buy, sell, and mint the tokens. Their Twitter account is down below. Check it out. Give them a like and a follow on Twitter. And while you're down there, make sure you hit like and subscribe on this video. Pump those metrics up. Get these videos out to everybody, because Cardano's blockchain is working extremely well. I almost never seen, I don't think I've seen a failed transaction in over a year. We don't see failed transactions. Just so people understand for reference, if you've ever used Ethereum and you have a failed transaction, you still lose your gas fee. We're not having that happen on Cardano. It's working extremely well. It was built very, very good. So check out those links, hit like and subscribe, help us out over here, and check out Tokun's website. Play around with it. You'll have a lot of fun. I played around with it a couple days ago.
One thing, if you have any question anyway, if any users are coming in our platform, we're very active on our Telegram channel, and the community is very active. You will find here plenty of answers if you have any. Our community respond, and we have a very nice community helping each other in there. So don't hesitate to come on our Telegram channel in the bottom of our website.
I love that, because then what people get is 24/7 tech support from other people using the website. Then you guys can focus on the development and moving forward, moving the ball down the field.
Precisely.
Trying to.
Yeah.
Trying to.
We had this
Code.
plan
Somebody got to write that code. Somebody got to write that code. That's you guys.
Yeah, we had this plan from day one. We put together a community and we shared everything we did from day one. There's an interesting feature we're working on. I'll talk about that shortly. So that we basically do the knowledge transfer with the group of people who are active, so that when we go on to work on the next feature, those people who've been around and still in the community, they're actually helping the people who are on board, coming new to the platform. Something funny mentioned earlier about the number of transactions increased recently or due to this marketplace activity. I think Smoke Pool or somebody on the Twitter tweeted saying that, look at the number of active wallet that has increased. I think Tokhun might have something to do with that. Because we create a new wallet for every user and every sale. That's one of the security features we have. So I think we might have been contributing to that stats, which I'm really happy about.
Yes. So there are 830,000 plus. There are more than 830,000 staked wallets, and there are 1.4 million wallet addresses that are in use. Okay. Yeah. And then the actual number of active users, I have no idea how to figure that out, but it's at least 830,000, something higher than that.
Yeah.
So
hope we will not break the machine by doing too much wallet. And when we do smart contract, because we have a plan for doing smart contract, trying to reach some developers for that, we will actually open for each transaction an address that will be linked to the smart contract. So we'll be building a lot of addresses. Hope Cardano can keep up on all the addresses we will be building.
Yeah. Everything we build will be stress testing Cardano, and we can feed straight back to Charles and say, hey, look, Charles. I want to touch quickly on smart contract. What's interesting about the way smart contract works, it's something I recently found out. It doesn't work anything like Ethereum. Like on Ethereum, if you deploy a contract, that is it. That is the final version that's deployed. You cannot make any changes, because if you do, then it's an entirely new smart contract, right? In Cardano, the smart contract can be modified if you find a bug or flow, so that every time you deploy it for someone to interact with it, one example, like in a marketplace. So when somebody is ready to buy it, we can instantly deploy a contract, and that is the address you'll be interacting with. So your asset will not be held on our platform. It will be inside a smart contract temporarily, and the custodian will be there. So if there was any issues or we want to introduce a feature, subsequent deployments to the marketplace will actually inherit those new features. And I'm quite excited about exploring that, how to utilize it. Obviously, it comes with its own caveat, because if you just validated your smart contract and said, this is our implementation, then you made changes to it, then that validation, it goes away. Like with the security certificate that you got to say that this is good code and it hasn't changed. And it can become very expensive to keep getting it validated. So it'll be interesting to see how that changes in the future.
Yeah, that is interesting, because then the user won't have to go in and specifically select a contract number, which can be very complex. It's a complex hash, so you really don't want the user using that. You can just have the web interface point to the correct contract, the newest one, or the blockchain knows, oh, this is the newest one. Use that one. Don't use the old one, right?
Yeah.
So it makes the user interface much more efficient, much better user
Yeah.
experience.
What's going to be interesting is when we
what we
release smart
discussed.
contract.
Oh,
Oops, sorry.
sorry.
I'll
And
just
even
finish
what
this
we.
one last point quickly.
Yep, sure.
When we release this smart contract version of our marketplace, it's going to be funny because people won't even realize that we switched over to smart contract, because everything will stay, the way it behaves is exactly modeled after what it would be when smart contract arrives. So Tokhun is a manual smart contract at the moment.
Right.
And the transaction will be even faster because the way it has been explained to us, as long as the transaction is sent, so the trigger of the old process is instantaneous. It will be even faster than it is right now.
Yeah, right now we have to keep polling to figure out, oh, there's the payment we're looking for. But in the era of smart contract, the operation is going to be atomic. Soon as you send the transfer, the funds, we'll instantly know, hey, you're wanting to buy it, and then we swap it out all in one go.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and it will speed up. It does work well on Ethereum. I've used it with MetaMask and on Saturn Network with Ethereum Classic, and it is pretty quick. It is pretty quick. There's a question from Enoch Slosh. He's a very frequent flyer over here, and I think you guys are the experts, so great guys to ask. Enoch says, so what projects or ideas are in the pipeline? For example, will you partner with gaming projects or building a virtual art gallery where artists can lease out their art to the gallery? So multi-part question, basically, what ideas do you have in the pipeline?
So I will start with the art gallery because actually what we do is we actually act as an art gallery. All the NFTs that are produced by our partners, and something we can keep talking about is the partner community that we're building up, which is very important. So this gallery already exists. So we are actually our own gallery, and all the partners have their presented. And even if it's already sold, their assets are still in the gallery as minted on Tokhun. So this is one thing. Latheesan, from the beginning of the story, has the idea of doing some APIs to be able to have third-party apps, third-party website being able to actually use all the Tokhun features through APIs on their gallery website. That's also something that we're interested of doing. For gaming project right now, I'm not sure we have some online.
Yeah, I can quickly touch on these points. There's already another project out there which is trying to tackle the gaming side of Cardano and blockchain. Ludo Token, you should check that out. We've not had anyone reach out to us want to do partnership related to gaming, but we did have interesting proposals sent to us. So now we have marketplace. The next thing we want to try to do, if I can announce it here, we're going to be looking at some bidding feature, but we want to do it in such a way that it can be launched with one of the partnership, where it's beneficial to a charity event. So we'll get more details out when it makes sense. But it will be interesting to see not only being able to buy something like Amazon, but you'll be able to bid on things like on eBay as well.
Exactly. Bidding is probably coming very shortly.
Yeah.
Because we have a need for that, for a partnership. And this is something we thought about since the beginning, as other platforms in Ethereum have them. I was just thinking about something about gaming. I know that in the last show that you did with all for the party, the launch, the Alonso launch partner event, you had a long session talking about about gaming just before Charles came online, and I think I remember in the history, and don't want to sound as Ethereum maxi, but that was the beginning of Ethereum project. And Vitalik said he wanted to do a smart contract and to be able to have those gaming assets not flying away from. So if you want to check this video, there is a section about video gaming that is very interesting.
I mean, NFTs are the natural place for gaming. Gaming is like, I can't remember. I can't remember exactly how big the market space is, like a couple of billions. But imagine owning a sword in a game that is actually true, owned, and you can transfer it. And our marketplace will be there to support it.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what we were getting at. Like Cardano Warriors, for example. Cardano Warriors, I have a couple of those, and I believe in the use case in the future is each of those components will be removable from that particular token. Like I can trade you a sword without trading the entire Cardano warrior, for example. Elder Scrolls was one of the things we brought up. I'm an old Elder Scrolls player. I haven't played in a little while, but I played it a lot. And there's each component in the game is givable and tradable, but it's inside the server. So the actual high-speed 3D rendering, that would still be done with high-speed servers where you have two players in a virtual world. That has to be done with high-speed centralized servers. But when they make an exchange of data that actually has value, I mean, this stuff, this stuff becomes really valuable. That would take place on the blockchain where it's more secure and immutable.
And also the asset won't be able to be destroyed by the centralized game centers. This way, if someone decide to shut off a game, someone can rebuild the game and re-inject the old asset in a new game. That would be awesome.
The game companies will not actually own the assets that you minted in the game or you bought. What's interesting is that for game companies who wants to do this, we could potentially provide an API for them. So we could act as the inventory API. So for this user wallet, what do they have? We can give it, and we can even provide the sales functionality as an API so they can do white label marketplace on their own game site. They don't have to necessarily send the user straight to a token website because the functionality will still work the same. So there's lots of opportunities there.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you, Enoch Sosh, for that awesome question. And I thank all the viewers for your participation. We do have another question from Daniel McGuire. And Daniel asks, what is the difference between art and collectible categories? I can kind of answer that, but how do you guys define that on your website?
Well, you can think about Pokemon cards and David Okade's painting in a way. So you would have those two categories. One are getting into a system of like a gaming system or a trading system with sort of logics, which would be the collectibles, and art they could be intricated. That's right. You could have some art cards that would have a sort of gaming or collection system, but that would be those two differences, I guess.
Yeah, for me, our premium partner artist is a good example. So one artist I can quickly, top of my head, I can think of is Jonathan Dickinson. He creates really, really beautiful artwork. And if you looked at it, they're one of a kind. They would be classified as art. But if you look at something like Spacebirds, they're collectibles.
Yeah, so I know what you mean. I know art when I see it, like Thomas Kincaid paintings and stuff like that, that are one of a kind digital art created by a digital artist or an artist in that context. Yeah, so I think it becomes more clear. That was a great question there, was what's the difference between art and collectibles?
Art could be a serial, so you won't find that in collectibles. The idea of having like engravement printing, or you could mint a series of 20 print, and some could have more value because they're number 1, 2, 3. And those would be in art categories. That's another aspect of art that we could see, and that is mintable on Tokhun. And
yeah, and there are some very well made collectibles that have a lot of artistic characteristics to them.
Exactly.
But it is pretty easy to see the difference after you look at enough NFTs and say, okay, this one is a collectible where they have similar characteristics but different traits, and then art is just very unique all in its own.
And for collectible, the question before was what kind of features do you have in mind? One feature that we have in mind is actually doing a collectible machine where we could have the user having a list of assets that he would have determined the rarities or the different specification of it, and he could load the whole thing with all the different arts, and then we could mint on demand. The idea is having everything loaded on Tokhun, and when someone press buy and have it would sort a random element of it, and he could have one of the asset. This way we would only mint whatever is asked, and not and the buyer wouldn't have to build them all, and it will go as the pay goes. Yeah. So this is one feature that we have in mind since a very long time already.
Yeah, there's a sense of randomization and rarity because you never know what you're going to get.
I should have maybe shut my mouth, because now competitors will do that before we even get it out. Okay, we have to code it tonight, Latheesan.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the competition in the market here shortly. That'll be the last bit we'll touch on. We're approaching about the 30-minute mark now, and oops, there was another question from Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. Is it only premium partners allowed to list?
That's the confusion that people had, because when we launched the partner the marketplace, we had two steps on it. First, it was only our partners that was able to push to sell, and everybody could buy our partners' art. But very short after, that was to stress actually to go in a ramp up and making sure that our system was strong enough to hold all those buy and sell. Then after, what was it?
5 days.
5 days. Then we launched the open market to everybody, so everybody can now list any asset for selling.
Yeah,
and that's a confusion because I receive a lot of demand right now that I can't honor, because we're on the launch product to be partners. Oh, I want to be partner, but right now everybody can actually mint. Show their own private gallery, because there is also this aspect, and soon we will be able to also plug the personal sell in the personal gallery, but that's something else. So they can mint, they can have their personal gallery. The difference with the partner is it will be able to show his personal gallery on our main gallery site. That's the only difference for now between a partner and a non-partner.
So anybody
at
can
some
sell.
point, we will probably be pushing the partners sales up front to the sell part, but also everybody can sell and mint their asset on Tokhun, and not only partners. And that's a confusion that was maybe that was thought because of the pre-launch, but now everybody can do it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a good idea to have things marked as premium, because I have seen some really funny NFTs.
Tell me.
Yeah, you guys have seen them. I mean, they're just hilarious, and I love them. But when you go to something like the premium section, where you're looking at real digital art and really high-end collectibles, you want to make sure you're looking at what's considered top-end stuff, especially people who are new to NFTs, and what are they looking at. And some of them are fun. There's a lot of really fun collectibles out there. I have a bunch of them. I have over 200 NFTs.
Wow.
And I didn't go in and I get addicted. Like I love it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these are so cool. Every time a new one comes out, I got to go in there and try to get one. And I'm like, then I end up getting two or three.
Plus, as very beginners in the community, I know that you have been sent many ones also because of this community. Every original stack pools I know that they have some gift and they're represented in the community, and I can think about, and I'm doing a little bit of advertisement for our community manager here, Onadrax. I don't know if you've seen this project, but he has been drawing all the original pool operator here, the sort of the main community. And this, I like also this ecosystem with. So I guess you've been receiving a lot of them. When someone is like Spacebuds has been also making those special edition for stick pool operators, right?
Yes. Yeah. Most of them have reached out and said, hey, can we use you on our project? So they're going out and it takes a lot of work. And they're going out like Ada Folios. They go out and request permission to use logos and images and stuff like that. So a lot of them, they're being good about it. There are some projects where they did not. It just kind of showed up like that. But
really?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's been a few. I would like to encourage people who are creating NFTs to make sure you don't violate property rights, especially things
Tell
like.
us. If it happens with you, we will ban them.
There you go. That's important for a website, because what will happen? Let's say someone snags a Thomas Kincaid painting and decides to dump it on the blockchain. Okay. Now, Thomas Kincaid makes those particular artwork. It has a certain theme with country cottages out in the woods in the wintertime, stuff like that. Now, if someone were to grab one, snag it, dump it on an NFT, that's fine. But if they dump it on your website, literally the Thomas Kincaid industry, their company, can contact your location and say, hey, they send a cease and desist order and say, you need to take that down. That's our product.
So
right?
we have capabilities in place to actually action on these. So we're well aware. We also have capabilities to sort of detect when people are trying to blatantly sell fakes, because minting has become so easy and prevalent now. People have been just downloading the JPEGs, sticking into another online easy minter, and then trying to pass off as a fake one. So people must understand when you're buying, make sure that if it's a known big project like a Spacebuds or Cardano Kids, any one of these projects, check that the policy ID is verified before you buy it.
We actually have one minter that actually did something like 7 different copies of
all the popular projects. 7.
It has been minting like one of each one and has been putting them on market. So we have been building a system where we could actually block those accounts, and people can reach out and tell us, no, this is actually a legit project, or it could be, and it happens also. But the idea is, even for our reputation, making sure that we don't actually step or making false appear too much false in our system. So we have like a block system.
And I think it's important for people to understand, like OpenSea on Ethereum also has that ability to say, okay, this doesn't belong here, let's get rid of that. Because I know some people say, oh, decentralized has to be completely immutable. Well, it is.
We had this discussion with
people can launch an NFT from the command line that is immutable. It is on the blockchain on Cardano, just like on Ethereum. You can do it from the command line, no problem. But then there's professional websites like yours that make the service very easy for people like me to use. And then you guys are accountable, right? If something bad shows up on there, you might have to say, well, let's kind of get rid of the bad stuff. Otherwise, you'll get cease and desist letters and stuff like that.
So we have two policies for that, because we were actually discussing what about nudes or stuff like that. Some will be just showing up just because people want to put trash. And this was a concern from the beginning of Tokhun, because the first minting wall that we've been looking at had a bunch of pixel titties or stuff like that. Maybe I'm not allowed to do that.
No, you're allowed to say it. I buy them. I bought the ones. I bought a couple of them.
See, we have no problem with nudity. It's just we don't know who's going to be looking at our site. So there is a feature in the metadata to block those out. So if you flag it as NSFW, which is not safe for work, we can hide it, but then you can look at it when you're willing to, because some countries have strict laws, like our website is accessible by the entire world, and in certain countries you're not allowed to look at that kind of stuff. And if they found that we're serving that, they will just blacklist us from that country, and we'll miss out on those markets. So if you flag them as NSFW, and then if you encounter that, you simply skip it and go on to the one that you want to look at, which could be an ordinary artwork.
So when you mint one big section that is written down is if it's adult content, then you have to blur it, and it could be unblurred when you hit the button that you can look at it. But so this is a feature that we have been, and I think other minter platform have been implementing it too. So we're going all together in the same.
Yeah, we're in a general consensus about what field in the metadata we use to actually implement that. So this just says one field, NSFW. If you set that on the metadata of the mint, go ahead and mint what you want, but we'll pick it up and blur it. But when you go to view it in the Asset Explorer, there'll be a prompt. This is adult content. Are you sure you want to watch it? And you say yes, and we let you watch it.
Right.
There's one other thing about metadata, because you were speaking about metadata, that was very interesting. And in terms of Cardano community too, we have competitors, and we're sort of each looking at each other, like, oh, what is he doing? Is he on? Is he off? Is he trying to attack us with a specific overload attack or something? So we have this, and we actually had one. And at the launch of our system. But one thing I wanted to backward on is we're thinking about fees and royalties, and we actually had some people that gather all the main actors of the community and say, we will do a roundtable and try to figure out how we want to commonly do the fees into Cardano. And this is like a bit out of only tokens topic. So we all get on a roundtable and discussed about how we would like to do it in order of, for example, if someone is getting afterward in our system, they will have to use what we have been putting on Cardano as rules. So we all sat on a table and get to discuss together and agree about the way we would do royalties. And that was awesome. And this is something I don't see that could happen in any other blockchain than Cardano. That was
just to add to what
experience.
Valentin said. So he's referring to the Cardano 777 hashtag that you've probably seen on Twitter. It's basically you create a nameless token using your policy ID, and then you register where you would like to receive your royalties and what percentage. Now, what's cool about this is it's absolutely useless unless marketplaces like us and others get together and say, yep, we will honor that and then implement it. So we did the first phase of agreeing to the standard, and we quickly implemented it within Token. So if you come into Token and you create a new policy, you can actually register for on-chain royalties, and pretty soon we'll be supporting it so that when people buy one of your assets, with the on-chain royalty registered, you will start receiving them. Then in the future, we will just pass that on to the smart contract.
Yeah, that's not usable right now, but people can actually start putting their royalties into our system.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, they will not receive it, but when it's triggered on many other platforms, and all the one that has been discussing this on this roundtable, then everybody will be able on those main platform to be able to get back their NFT, their royalties.
Yeah, you could mint a token on a token with royalties on that policy you registered and go sell it in another marketplace. As long as they're reading the 777 metadata index, they'll know how to apply the royalties.
Wow, that's fantastic. The amount of collaboration and how well thought out a lot of these developments on Cardano, it's just amazing. It really is amazing to see the level of effort and the large number of people involved here. There was a question I did want to touch on. Should be a pretty easy one. Architectural Tile Designs asked, is there a drop down to see recently sold items and how to sort sold items?
Yeah, funny you should ask that. Yeah, it's literally ready. I haven't had time to review it and release it. So the reason for that is because I'm actually working on another interesting feature, which is we looked at the biggest problem, one of the biggest problem after the metadata on Marketplace after launching, which is that artists and NFT projects want to get verified because that increases buyer confidence, right? And there's been a big backlog of a sort of centralized repository we chose to use because I was under the impression that's going to be up to date and people are going to be contributing to it, but the speed hasn't been there, at least the level that we would require. So Token is actually building on top of that our own policy ID verification service, and it's currently ready and is being tested in the testnet with the goal of approving basically within 24 hours. So if you're a project and you already have some verified policy IDs and you'd like to add something to it, or you're an entirely new project, you just come on Token, but this verification will only be recognized within Token Marketplace. We're still working on how to get this out there, to supplement what's already on that verified policy ID repo. But in the meantime, we're opening up a pathway to people to get verified quickly, in a concise way, accurately. And once you do, then your assets will be flagged as verified, increases buyer confidence, more sales.
That's fantastic.
So
because
one thing interesting about, sorry.
Oh no, I was saying that's fantastic because there are big companies like Disney with Marvel, and they have put stuff out on blockchains. And for them to be introduced to Cardano, they're going to want to have that confidence to say, yeah, they understand their stuff gets counterfeited, their stuff gets stolen. And we even had a comment from Catherine in the chat. So we'll be on for about 5 more minutes. We'll be wrapping up here. But Catherine said, if you have IP questions, you could ask
Latheesan?
me. It's
Can
what
you
I
hear me
do.
correctly? Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think
Yep,
I have
that's
a
right.
connection issue. Is it
Small
me?
connection issue.
Yeah, it was a
You're
bit
all right.
choppy, but it's there. All right, thanks, Catherine, for letting us know that. And there are other teams out there developing. And there's one last piece we were going to touch on for today, and that was the competition and how you guys view it. We have CNFT.io, who also has an NFT marketplace, and there are other NFT marketplaces. It's a big, giant world out there. What's your take on the competition?
Okay, I'll go first. So CNFT.io does slightly differently to how we operate. Ours is fully custodial. What that means is when you want to sell something, you have to transfer the asset to our marketplace. And when a buyer wants to buy something, they have to transfer their ADA. So both partners, buyers and sellers, are committing to that exchange. The way it's different on CNFT.io is that you connect your wallet up, and if you have that asset you want to sell, and you can just make a soft listing. So it's not a full commitment to say that I'm actually selling it, because if I list something and say I want to sell this spacebot for 10 ADA, it will show up, but then somebody would buy it, but obviously that's not the real value of it. So the seller is not actually required to sell it. I understand they recently added some banning system in place, to prevent these kind of rug pull. But the difference in our platform is that these aren't possible, because once you put your asset into a marketplace and then put it up for sale, if a user wants to buy it, like the seller does not need to be behind the computer waiting to send the asset. They could list it, go on a coffee break or have a shower, and their asset will be sold. And when they come back, the funds will be in their account. That is the fundamental difference. I would like to point it out.
Okay.
And some people like that, they don't. That's the problem, because people don't know us yet. Therefore, they have reserved feelings about, can I send the asset? Well, I would only point at our homepage and see that there's 1,500 sales listed right now. We're looking after it, and it's not final. If for whatever reason you thought, this is not working, or I'm feeling nervous about it, you can unpublish your sale and withdraw your assets out at any time. So those 7 days that you can list your sales for, it's not a hard deadline. It's just so that we can keep our marketplace fresh with contents and rotate them out. So you can cancel your sale and get your assets out anytime.
Is competition helpful in a sense that the market is so hot right now that there's so much demand and so much load? Does it help take the load off of Token.io,
Absolutely.
CNFT.io?
Absolutely. We want the buyers to have options, and sellers to have options as well. And ultimately, people will go with what they like.
Yeah, so the competition is a good thing because it'll help keep you moving forward, keep you on your toes. You can learn from them by what you see them deploy, and other competitors can learn from you by seeing what you deploy as well. But in the end, it's just there's such a massive volume on Cardano right now. The transactions almost never fail. I have not seen a failed transaction in over a year. And so that's going to draw in a lot of users. So
we actually recently, and I know they're working very hard, and we actually having seen many little glitches on Euro recently, and having some transaction sent, and then it sort of doesn't show up as sent and maybe failed, and then it's actually going on. So we had some issues with some partners with that, with some sellers with that, and we implemented a solution to get through these little issues. So some people, when they send it twice, if they go into our system, we can actually refund the second that didn't went through, because we had those glitches recently.
I just want to highlight that this is not a Cardano problem, as in if you were using a full node wallet like Dateless, you would never encounter this issue. As you know, Yoroi is a light wallet client, and they are powered by a backend behind them. Now, The only thing I can think of why this is start happening recently is because we've had the smart contract, the hard fork event happened, which was successful, and more people are learning about Cardano, and like, oh wow, they the deadline, we hit it, and then more users are coming in, and I think they're just having some scaling issues.
So it was
this,
because Sebastian was going on DC's part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had a discussion with some other folks about the infrastructure, and part of it is DB Sync is not as fast as the node. The node is extremely fast and extremely efficient, and DB Sync is an interface that that's sometimes
a full
where the
copy of the
bottleneck
database, isn't it?
But but that's not really a problem on the token or CNFT. But you do have things like web servers that aren't the node, and those sometimes those hit their limits. And one last question here. I'll just touch on this one briefly, and we'll wrap it up.
No,
Thank
we
you,
want
gentlemen.
more. We're here for still again like 2 hours. Hold on, people.
I know. I want to. We just gotta do more episodes.
Yeah.
There was a question from Dale Botha. He said, how NFT projects deal with low resolution versions of high resolution originals. And that's partly that's how they deal with it on our website or displayed on Token.io. But there's also CC Wallet. And Andrea Kalea just pointed that out as well. CC Wallet is an amazing light wallet. Been using it instead of Yoroi, never looking back. I still use Yoroi because Yoroi is great at displaying the rewards, the epic rewards. But as far as displaying, CC Wallet displays your NFT in the wallet. So you can see the image of the NFT instead of having to read the asset ID and go, what am I looking at? What is this asset?
Exactly.
I don't know what it is. So well done to CC Wallet, Cardano Community Wallet, CC Wallet. And that's made by Ola Allman over at Allnet and Marcel at Titan. They are the makers of CC Wallet. So well done on building that wallet.
I was wondering because it has been pointing out by the community to use, and because of the cool UI design, and I was wondering how we could actually know those new wallets are reliable.
That's how do you know they're reliable? There's going to be a big discussion on that, and we'll get another Cardano live as well. That'll be brought up, and it was kind of funny. There was a question I had to touch on that, and then we're done.
Yeah, it was a real interesting question.
Is this real, or is this another scam giveaway? This is a real Cardano live because I could actually pull your question up, but there is a problem where scammers out there replay videos. We don't give anything away. Cardano Live, I got a disclaimer down below. Check out the disclaimer. I never do giveaways on the Cardano Live. I am not going to do them specifically for that reason. Great question, Stephen. Check out the disclaimer. All right, so gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Do you pay someone to post that?
No.
That's awesome.
We have the best. We got the best people over here. We really do.
Awesome.
We got the best folks in the chat. Great questions from people. And hey, guys, can you come back and do an AMA sometime in the next month or two to bring as we have more deployments? Come on back over to Cardano Live.
That would
be awesome. We'll probably have 100 more features to show off next time we come around.
You should see the speed that Latheesan and Siddiq are putting features one after another. They're like machines. It's like we don't have even time to list them already. They're already on. It's terrible.
We have a cool feature I want to just give a shout out to. So it's called a soft maintenance. I actually named that after being inspired by Cardano's soft hard forks. What it is that the website will continue to function when we do maintenance upgrades. We just simply post the marketplace, so you can't buy or sell anything while I post it.
Very well.
And we've done actually 6 or 7 soft maintenance updates so far where we release bug fixes and added features. And there's probably going to be one tonight where interesting new features coming out. So keep a lookout for it on our Twitter.
Okay, I will be looking for that tonight. Thank you, Latheesan. And you know what? You're like the Satoshi Nakamoto of Cardano or something, because Kyle Solomon said, yeah, that guy Latheesan, man, he's really good. He's really good. So that's good.
Thank you for his support. It has been, the story actually, and we actually started on his pool Telegram channel, and I had this project, and I said, oh, I need someone to develop this, and Latheesan came by and say, oh, I might be interested. So it has been a huge support for us, and thank you very much, Kai, for that.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
As Adam Dean too, that has been getting us so many input in our project, like all the knowledge he has about NFTs and NFT minting, and that's awesome. Thanks to him too, and also
we have a great team.
Also, all the artist communities that has been stress testing our software, because this is also the agreement that we have with them. They can play with our new features ahead and have some other advantages. But most of it is they're giving us feedback early before we release some features. And without them, we wouldn't be where we are, because it's really what we're building is starting from them mostly.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks for those shout outs. Great way to wrap up the podcast. Folks, check out the links down below. Make sure to leave some comments. If you have a technical question, I will flag Valentin and Latheesan and let them know I've got a technical question over here on the chat. So leave those down below in the comments section as well. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and you'll have a great day. You know why? Because Cardano is going for #1 all day, every day, going for #1. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for your welcoming, Rick. That was awesome. Thank you.